This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some important updates to share with you. President Biden announces new executive actions. President Biden also announces when he's going to make his decision on student loan forgiveness. And with inflation rising, gas prices on the rise, food prices on the rise, I'll let you know what the Democrats plan on passing in order to fix the economy and fix everything else in the country. I'll play a video clip around that. Also, I'll give you the latest stimulus updates like this. 10 states offering gas stimulus checks and other relief checks, and $500 summer stimulus checks going out, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Hope you're having a terrific Tuesday. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below. So, Biden announces new executive actions to spur domestic solar clean energy development. So, what he's saying here is President Biden authorized Defense Production Act to spur U.S. manufacturing of solar and several other forms of clean energy. The White House announced yesterday, Monday, Biden authorized the Energy Department to use the DPA to speed up domestic manufacturing of solar panel components, energy-efficient heat pumps, building insulation, electric transformers needed for power grid, and equipment like electrolyzers and fuel cells. The White House also announced it will leverage the power of the federal government's purse for clean energy using federal procurement to increase solar manufacturing. Let me know your thoughts on that. Is this a good use of executive action? Should we go more for clean energy? Should there be another thing that President Biden should do? Let me know your thoughts on that. So, White House also announced a 2-year suspension of anti-circumvention tariffs on solar panels that have effectively ground much of the U.S. solar industry to a halt after intense lobbying from much of the U.S. solar industry. So basically, solar looks like to be the new path that they're going to try to increase production for, remove a few blocks and or remove a few obstacles blocking it before. Let me know your thoughts. Good idea, bad idea? Also, President Biden made another announcement here. So Biden's decision on student loan forgiveness is likely to come in July or August, report says. So Biden administration is unlikely to announce a decision on student loan forgiveness until at least July or August. Wall Street Journal reported President Biden last month had promised to share his plans within weeks. So this is actually what I predicted. I thought that it was too early for President Biden to make a decision on student loan forgiveness because he's probably going to do it closer to the midterm elections, or at least when the effects of student loan forgiveness will help the Democrats get more votes. So this makes more sense, but it also contradicts what he said before, where he said in a few weeks he's going to share his plans. So looks like they're doing some calculating there. Let me know your thoughts on that. And when it comes to inflation, so inflation, economy, top of mind for Americans heading into the midterms. So everyone is not only thinking about inflation, but feeling it on a daily basis. Anytime anybody pays for anything, costs are high percentages higher than it was than just a year ago. So in terms of food, supermarket, grocery, I think that's up 20%. Gas, we could all see the gas prices up really high, as well as other things. And so in terms of voters, they're really concerned about that. So what are the Democrats who are in control of the House, Senate, and presidency, executive branch, what are they doing about that? Take a look at this video clip right here of what the Democrats plan on doing.
Joining me now, House Majority Whip James Clyburn, Congressman of South Carolina. Whip Clyburn, thank you, as always, for coming to the Sunday Show.
Thank you very much for having me back.
So does the president have a messaging problem, or does he have a leadership problem, do you think?
Well, you know, I've said for a long, long time, it's not our message, but it's more that we have a problem with labeling. We have done a lot of things. The problem is we focus too much on the half-empty glass rather than the half-full glass. I think that we have a legislative process that we do not do enough of bringing people along. Look at what we have done with the American Rescue Act, with the bipartisan infrastructure bill, with the omnibus bill that we have passed, the appropriations bill. And we are still working with the Senate to try to get the rest of his agenda done. But we keep talking about that part of the agenda that has not gotten done, rather than to share with the American people all of the great things that we have done. And then I look around and I see people out in their districts putting up these big overblown checks in. Here's what I have brought. Well, Joe Biden and the Democrats did that. We did it with a minimum. With the bipartisan bill, we got 13 Republican votes in the House, and we got none on the Rescue Act. So this is the kind of thing we have got to get our message right. So I think that we got a good message. We just have a problem with style.
And Whip Clyburn, I understand that. And yet, inflation is high. Gas prices are high. Food prices are high. People are feeling all of these things despite the glass half full that you're talking about. So can the president avoid the here and now frustrations and anger of the American people despite all the good things that have come out of this administration?
No, you can't avoid it. The fact of the matter is, when you start to stimulate the economy, you have to strike a balance. You cannot stimulate the economy without running the risk of inflating things. That's just the way economics work. If we are pumping money into the society so that people can go back to work, people can sustain themselves when they are out of work. We had a great pandemic that sidelined people, closed up restaurants, closed down businesses. So we had to pump money into the economy, and that will always run the risk of inflating things. That's just the way it works. What we have to do is get people to understand that it is important for us to do things for people who have nothing to inflate. And so the people who do have stuff that can be inflated, we have to bring them along and get them to know that all of us are in this together. And so let's look out for each other, and let's try to make this country a more perfect union.
So, Whip Clyburn, I want to come back to, I love the analogy, the glass half full, glass half empty, because there seems to be a bit of a disconnect in the way that Black Americans are viewing things and the overall Americans are viewing things. In the latest Washington Post poll, 60% of Black voters believe that President Biden has kept his campaign promises. But meanwhile, only 40% of Americans overall believe that the president has kept his campaign promises. Why do you think that is?
Well, that's once again because we are not getting enough emphasis on the things that we have accomplished. It just so happens that when you run for president, you lay out a 4-year plan. But people expect, in many instances, for all 4 years to be accomplished in one.
Right.
He's had a year and a half in office. We are trying to get things done in an orderly fashion, trying to do it in such a way that you don't overcharge the economy in such a way that we have runaway inflation. These are the risks that you run. This president knows this risk, but he also knows that he cannot afford to preside over a country where too many people are out of work and under-evaluated.
Whip Clyburn, one more question, and just give me a yes or no. You are politically brilliant. Can the president turn things around before the midterm elections? Yes or no, where we are right now?
Yes, he can, and he will.
And with that, we'll leave it there. Congressman James Clyburn of the great state of South Carolina. Whip Clyburn, thank you very much, as always, for coming to the Sunday Show.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, joining me now is Senior Advisor to President Obama. What a slip. President Biden. Gene Sperling. Gene, thank you very much for coming to the Sunday Show. Quite the Freudian slip there. But as an advisor, and
I was an advisor. I was an advisor to President Obama too, so it's not a slip.
Right,
Proud to have worked for both men.
Right, and you focus on the economy
and President Clinton.
Right, and you focus on the economy, if memory serves, for President Obama. So for President Biden, picking up on what Whip Clyburn was just talking about, Democrats are focusing on too much on the glass half empty. Do you think that it's possible for the president and the administration to get its message out about the glass half full part while also acknowledging the pain that's being caused by inflation and rising gas prices?
You know, Jonathan, you absolutely have to recognize both realities. You know, inflation is clearly global. The recent report by the OECD, which is the 38 major countries, showed the average inflation across those countries is 9.2%. So this is clearly a global phenomenon caused by a unprecedented shutting down and starting up of the economy, an unthinkable war of aggression in Ukraine. And yet, all that said, the fact that it's global is little comfort to an American family going through the grocery line or going up to the gas pump. Many of them have new jobs, many of them have raises, but they still don't want to give back any of that. But I do think that, yes, we have to understand the fundamental strengths that have come out of the American Rescue Plan. And let's just look at the jobs report that came out Friday. I mean, this should be reassuring for a few reasons. Number one, I think one of the things people have strongly reported and underestimated about the American Rescue Plan is the degree that it has given this recovery resilience. You know, I had a lot of reporters calling me when Omicron hit, when Delta hit, when the Russian invasion happened, and said, is this going to derail the recovery? The fact that you've had a strong American Rescue Plan has led both to historic job creation, the most equitable recovery I've seen. You've seen Black and Hispanic unemployment basically return to pre-crisis levels when it took 6 years after the Great Recession. So you're seeing the strong, equitable growth, but you're also seeing resilience. This economy is powered through. And we also saw what the Washington Post called yesterday the great return to work. Not only has it led to record job creation, but we've seen 4.2 million Americans come back to work. Those 25 to 54 are working at the same percentage that they did before the pandemic, which is a tremendous, really tremendous accomplishment. And just the final thing I'd say is that families are looking. You're right. You know, families. I've been in politics for a long time, and presidential approval is affected by gas prices, whether it's the president's fault or not, and inflation. We understand. We understand that, but the fact is that when you look at typical families, their checking accounts are up, they have less household, debt service, and I think all of this gives us more confidence that we are well positioned to make this transition to a more stable growth, even with the tough medicine that we know the Federal Reserve is going to have to take.
What are your thoughts on that? Do you agree, disagree? Let me know what you think. Next, let's get into what's going on with child tax credit. So nearly half of families with kids can no longer afford enough food 5 months after child tax credit ended. So that $250 to $300 per month per kid was helping out a lot of families. And yeah, I guess a lot of families are struggling right now because of that check, and also, or that check missing, and also with inflation prices just screwing everything up, not just families, but everybody in general. So we haven't seen any talks or pushes for a federal child tax credit yet, but in terms on a state level, it is happening in 2 different states. So Vermont will start sending $1,000 checks to parents stepping up after Congress failed to renew their program. So in Vermont, they're going to send $1,000 checks to families earning $125,000 or below with kids under 5 years old. So that's going on in Vermont, and then Connecticut sending out $250 checks. And then it came across this article, Stimulus Update, Your Questions Answered. So 4 questions here. I'll go over them really quick. Does the federal government plan to send another round of direct stimulus payments? At this time, not a federal 4th stimulus check. Could be potential gas checks on a federal level, but not a 4th. As I showed you before, like the $2,000 stimulus check or $1,400 check, those on a federal level are not happening. So which states have provided or plan to provide stimulus payments? I'll go over that in the next article. How can I find out if my state plans to send stimulus money? So this is really important here. You want to find out if your state, county, or city is giving out stimulus checks, because if I share all of them on this channel, but some people may not watch this channel. If you want to share this with some family members, there's this article right here to contact your local representative It is openstates.org. So if you go here, or look website here, openstates.org, you type in your address, where you're at, and then they can let you, that gives you all the contact information of your local representative, so then you could contact them to see if there's any other stimulus. And then the fourth question here, is there anything else in the pipeline? So the only things that are in the pipeline now are gas stimulus checks, where you could get a potential $100 per month or a couple $100 per year. That is still working its way through Congress. The only gas sort of bill, not stimulus, but gas bill, is to try to prevent price gouging from oil companies. So that's what's in the pipeline there. And then openstates.org if you want to contact your representative. And then here, summer checks worth $500 going out to 300,000 Americans now. So this is going on in the state of Massachusetts. Essential workers, sort of like a hazard pay or retroactive hazard pay going on here, where it is going out to 300,000 low-income workers in Massachusetts. And then the 10 states offering gas checks and relief worth up to $850 as price continues to rocket. How to claim. So I'll go over this really quick. Colorado sending out $500 stimulus checks to individuals, $1,000 checks to couples. Delaware sending out $300 checks to singles, $600 checks to couples. And then Georgia giving out $250 for singles, $375 for head of household, and $500 for couple or married couples, those who file jointly. And one that is just in the proposal stage is Hawaii, giving out $100 checks to individuals, and then it's $100 for every dependent, and no limit to that for anyone who makes less than $100,000 a year. Idaho giving out $75 or 12% of your 2020 state tax return. Indiana giving out $125, and then Maine $850 or $1,700 for couples. New Jersey $500 checks there, $1,000 for couples. And then New Mexico, this is fairly recent, so if you filed your income tax by May 31st, your 2021 tax return, then yeah, you get $500, $250 for singles, $500 for couples. And then Minnesota, workers will receive a one-time payment of $750, which was signed in early May. So, and then there's a lot of pending ones as well, which I'll save for another video where it's just a bunch of proposals. But yeah, that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Hi guys, I'm going to give you the 5 positive tips to make you start your day and make you be positive and grateful as much as you can. So first, stay happy, stay strong, and have good vibes, and do great to others when they do great to you. And also, you know this one, be nice to others when you be nice to them. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your time and support. If you appreciate the straight to the point updates, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to check out any of my other videos on my other channels, you could click up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.